Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Habitual. I'm your host, Haley, and we're going to start off the episode today with some daily delights. My biggest daily delight, and it's honest, it's been a week in progress, but it was finished today. So it's my daily delight, is I finished redecorating and repainting my bedroom. It's the best thing in the world. I'm so happy. It's remarkable how much a lighter color of paint and a piece of art can change the entire energy of a room. We moved in 2 years ago, and I have just had the hardest time with decorating our bedroom specifically because the walls were it was a dark gray, and none of the other rooms in the house had a dark color. It was just the bedroom, and it made it feel so dark. It just felt dark. We only have one window, so there's not a lot of natural light. And I have tried 1,000 different ways of decorating and reorganizing that room to try and make it feel better, and nothing has worked until this weekend. We repainted it a lighter color. It's the same color like this wall. It's like an eggshell. And the same color as the rest of the house. And then I went thrifting and I found the most perfect piece of art. It's freaking massive and it fits over our king bed. And it's a painting of like a creek running through woods. And it's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. And I did all the final touches for hanging that and redecorating today. And so that is a huge daily delight. The energy and way that I feel now when I step into my room, it just changes everything. And I love decorating and I love making the vibe of a room just feel cozy and homey and fit the space really well. I love doing that, and I think that I'm really good at it. And that's why this one room has stumped me, because I have been incapable until today. So I'm very delighted with that. It's just, it it seems so dramatic. It feels like a literal weight lifted off my shoulders going in and seeing how nice it looks now. And then my second daily delight is last night we finished Bridgerton, the season 4. Amazing. Amazing. I loved it. I feel like Bridgerton is one of those shows where I'm not trying to be analytical. I'm just enjoying my time, feeling all the vibes of the Regency era and the colors and the music and the romance and the flirting and I'm just it just feels so good on all the senses, and I love it. And I can't believe we had to wait a month for part 2. That was really hard because I binged part 1 in one day. And then I was like, okay, now what? But honestly, yeah, it was amazing. I loved it. Spoiler alert, I am shocked that there's another Whistledown. I was not expecting that. But also, I kind of was like, they have to make it some type of cliffhanger or set up the next season somehow. So, but I was not expecting that. So I loved that. That was a fun little twist at the end. And let's see. Oh, and another daily delight is I spent the weekend. I got to see pretty much all of my favorite people and be in all of my favorite places in West County. And it was just such a delightful weekend with people that I love, doing things that I love. And it really filled up my cup, and my heart just still feels very full from it. I got to see my best friends. I got to see my family and my sisters. I got to have some good time with Jacob. I got to hang out with Jacob's family. It was just chef's kiss. It was an amazing weekend, and we had some sun, and it was warm. So it was great. And like I said, it really filled my cup. And by Sunday night, I was just so satisfied and content and happy. And I felt like I was brimming with energy because it felt like such a productive and pleasure-filled weekend, which is the perfect combination in my eyes. I just loved it so much. And it kind of had me reflecting and inspired me to talk about today's podcast topic, which is the idea and concept of filling your cup, and kind of my thoughts on that, and kind of breaking down what I think that means and how I interpret that, and sharing my process on how I go about figuring out what exactly does fill my cup, and how I consistently and constantly try to incorporate those things so that I am always feeling fulfilled. Because when you're fulfilled and you feel like, you're probably gonna hear me say it 1,000 times, but when you feel like your cup is filled, then it's like the overflow just gets to go out to everyone else in your life and all the other things in your life and the projects and the tasks that you're doing and the people that you're meeting and the relationships that you're maintaining. And it just feels so much. It's not even that it feels easier to give, it's like you just want to. And you have the capacity to be there and to be present, to really tend to all of the things that need tending and the people that need tending around you, without causing yourself burnout or anything like that. And I feel like there's two kind of quotes or sayings, I guess, around like this whole thing. And the first being, filled cups fill cups, right? And then the second being, sorry, it's reminding me of that that quote that you would see on Tumblr in like 2013 that says real fuck, okay. That says real eyes realize real lies. You know the one? You probably know what I'm talking about. If you're on Tumblr, or I mean, probably Instagram, whatever. If you're on social media when you're in like 2013, that was like, and it was like Andrea Russett's eyes. Woo, okay, sorry. Trip down memory lane. It's also an inside joke with one of my best friends, so I actually can't say it seriously. I think we said it probably like 150 times in the span of 24 hours. So, anyways, back to the point. Filled cups fill cups. Because yeah. And then the other one is like, you can't pour from an empty cup, which both are pretty self-explanatory, but I also feel like it's so easy to see that and then be like, okay, but like, what does that even mean? For me, I think the baseline is like, you have your basic for me, it's like I have my basic needs met. I have a clean environment. I have an organized environment. Like, there's not dishes in the sink. There's not like, all this like extra like little things that make me feel like I can't be fully present in something. So for me, it's having all my needs met, having an organized and cleaned space and environment. And then from there, doing 1, 2, 3, 4, however many things that fulfill me. And fulfillment is satisfaction and happiness, is what that is. It's like a combination of both. And so when you're doing those things that fulfill you, it literally is like filling up that cup of, and I like to think of, it's kind of similar to saying like, like tending to your garden. Like, you have like an inner garden that you need to tend to. You need to make sure that it has sunlight and that it has water. And you need to, if something's not flourishing the way that you would want, you need to change and adjust the factors and the inputs so that you can hope to see a difference in the output. I think that's really similar to the concept of filling your cup. And you can't give yourself fully and in the way that truly means like showing up for someone or showing up for something in these other areas of your life, even if that's just like going to work. If your cup is empty and you're going to work, you're going to be like, I don't want to be here. And every little thing is going to piss you off and it's not going to be fun. But if you spend the evening before doing all of these things that fulfill you and you wake up the next day, like, yeah, sure, you might not want to go into work, but it's going to be so much easier to go and show up for this area of your life, knowing that you have fulfilled your needs in all of the other areas and that you have this abundance of energy and abundance of love and joy to give and to spread in all the things that you do. At least that's how I think of it. And I think that really committing to this bit, like committing to the fucking bit of always having a full cup, dude, it's life changing. It literally is. And I feel like it's a great way to like synthesize what I would consider like how I conduct my day to day life, right? Like how I prioritize things and how I adjust my priorities based on my needs and with what? And with the goal of being able to be the person that I want to be, the person that I want to show up as. And the person that I want to show up as in my life and in my relationships is someone who is happy, who is optimistic, who is a good friend, who is a good sister, who is a good partner, who listens, who takes time out of their day to be with you or go above and beyond in all of my relationships and to at the highest level be a source of love. That's who I'm trying to be. That's the energy that I'm trying to bring. Right? And so that might be very different for you. You have to figure out and really reflect and refine and understand who it is that you want to show up as. And once you do that, then it's like a math equation. Like you have to figure out all the things that you can do that allow you to be that person, to operate at that frequency, to have that energy. And for me, like I said, like basic needs, eating really well. I try really hard not to eat processed foods or processed sugar because that's what makes me feel good. That's what that keeps my energy levels high. It makes me feel good in my body and it's just important to me. Another thing, probably the biggest thing also for me that I learned is I need sleep. If I do not have like 7 to 8 hours of sleep, I'm just not in a good mood. I'm not someone that even I want to be around, right? So that looks like it becomes like almost like addicting though, because I'm like, I just know that I'm going to feel so good. So why would I like nothing else can really change that priority for me because I felt both sides of the coin, right? Like I felt what it feels like to wake up after 6 hours and go to work and I am not in a good mood and I'm feeling sluggish and I feel like I'm going to like fall asleep at my computer and I just am counting down the minutes until I get to go home. And then I have days where I sleep like 7.5 to 8 hours and I feel great. I have good energy levels throughout the entire day. Like I am happy, I'm in a good mood, and I am that person that I want to be. I'm able to be that person and have that energy. Obviously, there's, so many external like factors that we can't control, but we try our best, right? We try our best. So yeah, for me, it's really like eating, sleeping, exercising, and having an outlet for my creativity, whatever that is that day that I want to do. Um, and also having time to relax. That's also a huge one for me and having time to like de-stress. And having a clean space, like I said. So it's really just you have to find what works for you to be able to show up as the person that you want to be every day, right? Okay. So there's all those basic, I consider all that kind of like basic need. And then you need the stuff that's like fulfilling you on top of that. Because life's not just about like putting good food into your body and sleeping. Like that's not what, we're not robots. We're humans. We value art and connection and community and love and all of these things. So you need more in your life. And this is where the really fun part can come in, this is what I think is fun. So I don't know, we might have different definitions of fun. So that's, take that as you will. But I try and do this this practice. I try and do this, whatever. I try and do this twice a year, at least. Sometimes I do it more. Sometimes I'll just do it whenever I'm bored. Okay. And I call it a pleasure list. You can call it whatever you want. But basically, what you need for this is a notebook or a piece of paper and a pen. Those are the only two things you absolutely need. However, this is what makes it really fun for me, is I do this when I have guaranteed alone time. I like to block off like at least an hour, but I would say like two hours. I turn off overhead lights. I turn on my ambient lighting, my mood lighting. I light an incense and I get into like a really comfy outfit and I have my blankies and I get all cozy and I put on some type of music. I personally cannot write or read with lyrics, so I listen to like classical music or like piano instrumentals. Piano piece, I don't know the correct way to say that, but I listen to like piano, people playing piano, whatever, or classical. Or sometimes I'll listen to like frequencies. Sometimes those put me to sleep though, so it really just depends the vibe. And sometimes I'll listen to nothing at all. But you're gonna do all of that if you want to. You're basically just gonna make yourself feel comfy and cozy and like in a spot where you're gonna want to be for an hour or two. And you might be thinking, why the hell would I need an hour to make a list? That's the most important part. That's the most important part, because you can sit there and be like, okay, I'm going to write a list of things that make me happy. And you could probably write it in like 15 minutes and then be like, okay, done. But that is not the goal. The goal and the point of this exercise is to, one, be present and intentional with creating this list, and two, make it so comprehensive and like that you're getting granular, like you are getting to the smallest little thing, like, and it takes a minute, but once you get into the flow, it's so fun. And not only is it fun, but it is rewiring your brain to think of every little thing in your day-to-day life and in your life in general that makes you happy. So you're filtering through all of these memories, all of these things, all of your processes, your habits, like all these things. And you get to sit there and really think of like, does that give me joy? Does that bring me satisfaction? Does that bring me happiness? And you would be surprised. For me, usually it's like, yeah, there's like a few things that I list out in the beginning, sorry. There's a few things that I list out in the beginning that are like givens. And then I usually have like a little bit of a writer's block. And then I start getting like little tiny things, like this lyric specifically in this song, when I hear it during the bridge. Oh, like that part, like that makes me so happy. And then you start to like, you just get into this headspace of picking out and sorting through all of the tiny little things that make you happy in your life. One, the list will continue to grow. The list will always grow. No, every time you do it, you're going to find more things. And side note, it's so fun. It has been so interesting and rewarding to look back at my other lists, my other pleasure lists from 6 months ago, from a year ago, from 2 years ago, and to really look at that and I'm like, "Wow," like, and it's so wholesome and sweet because some things have never, ever, ever changed. Like, some things are on every single one of those lists, and I'm so grateful for that. I have so much gratitude for the things that have remained constantly providing me joy in my life over the span of years. But then 2, sometimes I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like, that just isn't me anymore." Like, that was such a season, like, that was just really cognizant and reminiscent of this specific season of my life and who I was in that moment, but that's just not me anymore, and I don't really resonate with it. But it's so cute to see. It's like that quote that's like, when you're reading through your old journal entries and like, "I know her, but she doesn't know me." And it's just like, it's a fun little archive to have and to be able to reference and look back at. Um, so that's also just a fun little motivation to continue to do it regular. Yeah, it's just a great exercise because you have to work at it. You have to, like, you use that whole hour or hour and a half or 2 hours, and you sometimes, like, yeah, I'll go, like, 5 minutes without writing anything, but then I'll find, like, one more thing, and it's just a great brain exercise, 1, and 2, now at the end of this, you have just compiled this collection of things that you can now reference anytime that you're having a bad day, anytime that you're feeling in a funk, anytime you just need a pick me up or anything. You can now look back at this list and be like, okay, like I'm going to do one of these things. Or like, oh my God, yeah, doing that does make me really happy. Even though it doesn't sound like the best thing in the world right now, like I'm going to go do that because I know that it's going to fulfill me. I need that right now. Right. Another thing that I like to use this list for is when I'm revising my habits and thinking about what to incorporate next or what I want to add into my life. I always, first of all, if you do this, please let me know how it goes for you. I'm so curious because for my first time doing this, I looked at this list and I was like, I don't even do any of these things daily, rarely. And I don't even really do them like weekly. And they only kind of happen sometimes. Do you know how how big of an epiphany that was? I was like, "Oh my God. How can I expect to be happy and fulfilled and content every day if I'm not doing the things that make me happy and content and fulfilled every day?" Like, you can't. It sounds so, like, common sense, like, duh, but also it's crazy because it's so easy to get caught up in this, like, "Oh, well, I have to have a job, and then I have to go to work, and then I have to do this thing that's good for me, and then I have to, like, see my family because they have this going on, and then I have this other social obligation, and then, like, blah, 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 blah," and then it just becomes your time is being monopolized by things that you have to do or things that you should do versus things that you wanna do. And so that's like a huge, huge cognitive shift is once you take that time to create this list to be really intentional and to get down to, like, no matter how big or how small or whatever it is or how often you can do it, doesn't matter. Like, don't do it with the idea of, like, this is something I can do every day. Just make a list of every single thing, like every single thing. And then when you're done, you can go back and be like, okay, like, what are the things? Like, you can color code if you're into that. You can, you make a little symbol, you make a little key if you're into that. But, or you can just write it out on separate lists. What are things from this list that I can do every day? What are things from this list that I can do every week? What are things from this list that I can do every month and every year? Right. And then you can categorize these things and be like, you know what? I'm going to try and make it a goal to, I don't know, do X, Y, and Z once a month, because realistically, it's like I can't do it that often, but it would feel really good. And I know that I would feel so good. Like, can I imagine a world where I did that once a month? How great would that be? And I just feel like it sounds so simple, but it feels like such a cheat code, because you take this list, you have all of these things. Now, you can reference them whenever you want. And then you can really see the areas of your life where you can add more pleasure or enjoyment. And because you deserve to feel happy, you deserve to feel a moment. You deserve to feel more than a moment, but at the very minimum, you deserve to feel a moment of pleasure every single day. Every single day. I can't think of a reason that would be a reason why you don't deserve to feel good every day. You deserve it. And because you deserve it, you need to start. Sorry, I'm not trying to talk at you. That's not what you need to, no. But if you want to, maybe you're not feeling good every day and you want to get to that point, this is the easiest hack that I have. This is like the easiest way to fast track and shift and get into that space and season where you are feeling good, right? And like I mentioned previously, it's not just doing these things and prioritizing them and at the expense of other responsibilities or priorities or basic needs, right? Like, those all have to be met first. You have to be able to be in a spot where you are taking care of yourself and you're prioritizing what is good for your physical health and what is good for your mental health. But you need to start with those basic needs, right? Whatever that means for you, whatever makes you feel good. And once you have those basic needs satiated, then it's fill those gaps in your day with any of the things from this list. Figure it out, like plan it out. Like, this is what I'm going to start doing every day, or this is what I can do every Monday, or this works with my schedule on Saturdays, or whatever it is. And also, whenever you have free time, that's the other thing. It doesn't even it does not have to be planned out. It can be, but it can also be like, okay, hey, I have a Saturday to myself. What should I do? What should I do? Consult the list. Look at the list. Oh, also, I'm just now realizing, I forgot to mention, I always do this list with colored pens. It just deserves it, right? Like, it just does. It's fun. I do it with colored pens, and I make my bullet points a different symbol. Sometimes I'll do a heart, sometimes I'll do a star, whatever you want to do. But it's just like, it's supposed to be a fun thing. And if you really only have like a black pen and you want to use like a black or blue pen and do normal bullet points, that's on you. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But I'm just saying, add some whimsy, right? Romanticize it. It's fun. But I digress. Yeah, whenever you have free time, now you have a freaking master list that you can refer to. And instead of sitting there and scrolling on your phone and seeing all of these other ideas of, oh, like that would be fun to do maybe one day at some point, or, oh, that's a good idea, I'll save that for maybe if I ever look at that whenever I'm at that stage in life. And I have this problem too. Just by the way, this is like me explain, like these are my brain thoughts. My brain thoughts. These are my thoughts that I have and my habits. And so I try to, I'll put my phone down and be like, hey, well, like, then what do I do? Great question. Let's look. And just, they can be like the smallest things in the world. Like, one thing for me is I love to, this is so funny. I talked about like listening to music and crying last episode, but I love to listen to music at absolute full volume in my car, and I love to dance like an actual maniac and scream at the top of my lungs. It gives me unfiltered joy. My heart feels like it's going to burst. I'm laughing at myself. I like have the best time ever. So sometimes I'll just get in the habit of just listening to my podcast in the morning. And every time that I'm like, okay, like I'm feeling like a little off, that's when I know I'll listen to my podcast for half of it, but that last 30 minutes of my drive, I drive an hour to work. But then the last 30 minutes, that is for singing and dancing in my car. And it transforms my morning. It changes my day. Like, it changes my energy, how I feel, how I go walk into work, how I feel for the rest of the day. And I know that, like, whenever I'm just like, or if I'm just like bored and I'm like, I don't know, that's something that I can do. Or in my room, okay. If you have never, do it only when you're alone, right? Because that's the whole point. But like when you're alone, have you ever put on like 2008 pop hits and just dance like an actual crazy person? Like trying to look like you're crazy. It's the best thing ever. And also like you're supposed to be able to laugh at yourself. Like that's like a huge thing of like being a human, right? Like you need to be able to laugh at yourself. And I used to have a really hard time with that. I used to like take myself so seriously, not be able to laugh at myself. But dancing like a crazy person in my room, that changed that real quick. That really helped me on that journey. But anyways, that's just another fun thing that I just think that you should try if you've never tried it. But anyway, just start to incorporate all these things. And maybe you look at your list and you're like, I do these things all the time. That's great. That's so, and then when that's your experience, when you look at this list and you're like, I do all of these all the time, what a reason to be grateful every single day. What a reason to look at that and be like, oh my God, like I'm so lucky that I am doing things that I love to do every day of my life. Like, how fucking cool is that? Yeah, have so much gratitude for it. And give thanks to all the things that let you get to that point in your life because it's fucking awesome. Um, anyways, I could I could talk about this for so long, but write a pleasure list, giving you homework. Write a pleasure list if you want to. If you don't, that's totally fine. But if you want to, do it. Set aside an hour or two, get all cozy, set the vibe, and see what comes out. See what comes up. Even if you don't, try and incorporate it into your day or anything like that. Like it's just a fun practice. It gets your brain in this mindset of looking for positives, and it almost like puts like a little filter on like your brain that's like joy and satisfaction. And then it like filters through everything that you do and all your habits and everything. And I think that's just an important thing to do from time to time to really reevaluate what you're doing, what you're prioritizing, and how to just make more time to be happy and to fill up your cup. That's the whole point. You got to have a full cup so then you can go out and fill other cups for other people if that's what you want to do. Whoever you want to be, you got to have that full cup to then go out and be that person that you want to be, right? So that's my thoughts on that. Also, please don't forget to share some of your daily delights or maybe some list items from your pleasure list because I would love to hear them and I love reading them. It makes me feel like I get a little glimpse into your day-to-day life and I love it and I love you. And I'll see you next Friday.